Welcome back to another episode of Harmonious at Lunch, the show that fuels your business success. I'm Brandon Gano, your host and guide through the world of harmonious business growth. Today, we're unlocking powerful strategies with industry experts to help your business thrive. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or executive, you are in the right place. Join me and our incredible guests today on the journey to clarity, growth, and success. It is time to revolutionize your approach to business. Let's dive in with another episode of Harmonious at Lunch. Welcome back into some more bite-sized business advice. And today's episode is going to be a gem. I guarantee it. Normally, I don't meet my guests before we get on the air, and it's just kind of a, hey, nice to know you. We're going to have a cool conversation. Today's guest, however, I had the absolute pleasure of meeting just a couple of weeks ago at this point, and he's the real deal. So I am more than excited to bring you today's conversation with Jackson Calame. We're going to talk about a number of different things. But first and foremost, Jackson, welcome to the show. And thank you so much for being here.
Brandon, thanks for returning the honor, man. It was great to have you on our show as well. And then you and I had that awesome little mastermind session afterwards. And you eat the breakfast of champions super, super well. Executive feedback, executive leadership. I'm happy to be here, dude.
What Jackson's saying is he called me out on my BS, and I loved every second of it because he was like the only person ever to do that. So that's why I said Jackson's a real deal, and I'm really excited to be here. But we're talking about in a short period of time today, not even enough to scratch the surface, but let's do this. You have a simple 8-layer foundation to build revenue growth and build a company. So give me the overview. What is this 8-layer foundation that you're talking about?
We had to go fast, man. Vision, culture, leadership, marketing, operations, sales, fulfillment, support, right? So
all right, cool. We're done. That was awesome.
That's it. That's it. We can wrap it up. So, yeah, those are the 8 layers though. Vision is critical. And we all have one, but we don't know how to articulate it. Right? Culture, we skip it. We put it in a drawer. Right. Our values, our mission statement, our vision statement, we act like people don't need it. Yeah, right. We need to know what type of entity we belong to. Leadership. You will not attract great leadership if you bury your core values under the rug and you don't have great vision. Marketing, you do not need to market a product and service. People don't, they can go to product and service anywhere, right? We buy from places and we go to events and we support things that we feel like we belong at, or we know we're safe, or we know we're secure, or we know we're going to have fun, or we're going to have whatever our values are appreciated and amplified. So vision, culture, leadership, marketing. Then operations and fulfillment. Both of those things are critical. Otherwise, you end up like Ja Rule with an event that doesn't actually happen, right? You've got to be able to fulfill on what it is that you say. And then after the operations and the fulfillment comes the sales and the support. I walked into Tesla to test drive a car. I asked the lady, how much do you make? She makes minimum wage. Why? Because the car sells itself. She's there to be more of a host team member and hospitality specialist, which does not take an engineer to do when the car is just that great. That philosophy and foundation has been proven time and time again by great brands from Disney to Tesla.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Another, I guess, fun fact, something that I've always found interesting about Tesla, and recently I learned about SpaceX as well, is they don't do any marketing.
That's not true. They don't do any advertising.
Advertising,
right. I knew you were going because I was like, I mean, it blew my mind. It was like, dang it. I was like, I thought everybody advertised, and they don't do any advertising, but the amount of money they spend on their marketing is insane. Just go to Tesla.com, take a look at the UX and UI and just how on point it is. And the amount they spend on imagery, and Elon Musk is a genius when it comes to PR and getting his name out into the world. So PR department goes into marketing department. Right. Design department, UX, UI all goes to the marketing department. But you are right. They're the one entity that doesn't use advertising, but they've invested millions and millions, if not billions, into their research and development that gets their messaging on point. So I don't know what his secret is to do that. But normally I recommend that businesses use advertising as a means to do their research and development, to know what is hitting with their audience. You don't have to spend a lot. But if you can get people who typically hate seeing something, advertising, to where they like seeing it, that message is going to resonate 10 times better with your warm audience as well. I would not skip that step. I would not follow Elon Musk in that regard. You are not Elon Musk, neither am I.
No, none of us are. That was a mini masterclass right there. But I'm curious. So out of these 8 layers, which I think is fascinating in and of itself. And like I said, we don't have enough time to go into each and
Mm,
every single one.
no.
But we'll have resources at the end of this episode. I have a sneaking suspicion.
Mm.
Which one is your favorite to dive into with people, or maybe which one do you get the most gratification with working through other business owners through?
Dude, I go straight to the boring fundamental, right? You got to go straight to the fundamentals. The base is vision, which is why I also host the show, visionproslife.com. So I'd love anybody got a vision out there, you want to come and share it, come and join us on visionproslife.com. Come share what your vision is. The ability to take a like a young artist, for instance, who's got raw talent, but they don't quite know how to put it together, and support them on that journey it's a lot of fun. Helping visionaries unlock and believe in themselves. Maybe their wife has told them their vision sucks. Right. Maybe their parents have told them your vision sucks. Maybe they've got friends and family who, and they don't usually say suck. They usually say like, well, you should really think about that. And I don't know if that's really going to work. And that book that you're launching, how do you know it's going to go anywhere? And we tend to harbor the shame, the guilt, the shadows that people cast on us, and then not launch. I'm creating an environment where people can come and celebrate that and share that. And the one exception, those of you who love false narratives, right, who aren't very authentic with what you do, I'm going to ask very authentic questions. And if you fail to answer those well because you're hiding something or you're not being true to who you are, you're not going to like the experience. But if you're being true and honest and open and vulnerable with everybody else, that, hey, this is where we're at, this is where we're going. Hey, I've got cars to sell. They don't exist. They won't exist for 2 to 3 years. But you should buy one. Elon Musk sold 180,000 cars from stage that wouldn't exist for 2 to 3 years. Why? Because he was honest about where they were going to go with that. So that's a really important key. Vision, man. Vision is so much fun to clarify. And plus, I don't really believe in anybody's business that doesn't have that clarified. They're going to eventually hit friction and fail, and then it's going to be harder to build. So let's get the vision right.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of turning into an episode all about Elon Musk. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but
Nope. No.
um, I am curious. Well, first and foremost, are you talking about the Cybertruck? Is that the car, or was that
No, it
the
was a
Model
Tesla
3?
Model 3. It was back when nobody believed in the company. And if you looked at what people were reporting about on stocks, everybody was bearish and said this was not, there was no way he was going to win. The company was bound to fail because no company had ever entered the motor space in the last 50 years and had success. And he crossed the finish line in front of everybody within a couple of years. So yeah, he did quite well.
Yeah, dude's got vision for sure. I love asking that question too when I meet people for the first time and I'm learning about their businesses. And you can ask it in a number of different ways outside of saying, "What's your vision for the next 5 years?" That's kind of a boring way to ask it. But where are you going with the company? What's your dream for your the impact of your company? How do you want to impact your community? However you ask the question, I hear a lot of people in quote unquote boring businesses who are just like, I'm a landscaper. I want to cut grass. That's a dumb question. How
Yeah, I
do you
want
get that answer out of
to.
people?
Well, we don't work with people who lean towards the dumb stuff, Mike, not even the dumb stuff, even the selfish stuff. And it's not selfish in a negative way. We all have selfish needs. All of us need to be able to eat and sleep, right? So if I meet a business owner and their vision is so self-centric, it's look, I want to put my kids through college. I want to be able to have a nice house. I want to be able to get a boat. I want. Nobody wants to work with you. You don't care about anybody else. You really only care about you. And if you only care about you, then I've got nothing I can market because the world's not going to care. So when I talk to a dentist, who's or let's go landscape artist, right? And they're like, I love the way people smile when they come out into their garden and they're so happy that they're in a sanctuary. Right. A dentist is like, man, I love the way people smile and the confidence that these teenagers have when they get their braces off for the first time. I guess it's more an orthodontist. But that drive of like, I love people and I want to help people, that's something I can support. That's something I can belong to. That's something I can create amazing marketing for. And so it's pretty easy because we're not trying to train people how to become unselfish. If they're selfish, we say, look, it's great to meet you. I love you, bro, girl. Like, you're a great boss, babe, whatever. And we get them out of the way because we don't need to work with the egos. They need a coach, right? They need a therapist. They need church or something. I don't know. But I'm looking for the people who are already serving and have really cool visions that are about helping others.
See what I mean when I said you called me out on my BS? That's your thing. Obviously, you didn't say any of those things to me, thank God. But
Well,
but
you
you
showed
say
up
it
as a
like it
great
is.
leader. You surprised me. You're like really surprised me because we have a 12-step checklist to look through brands from an outside perspective and see who they are, why they exist, and then all the things that their digital presence represents. And you, like anybody else, Brandon, that's growing a business, my business, I have flaws. You can find them if you use my 12-step checklist. It's not that hard to find flaws with first class business, vision pros, or passion pro. There's tons of them. But when you get to the bigger levels, I'm talking about like the 2% levels of companies, the ones that are really large, it's pretty easy to see a depth of culture at the brands that have been responsible with their culture. And that is a reflection of a strong vision, as well as a reflection of their ability to attract great leadership. I'd say Chick-fil-A, just to go away from Tesla a little bit, right, is a great example of having a solid culture and having built a culture over time.
So let's bridge that gap a little bit because we talked about leadership, we talked about the vision, and how that's innately there in those people. And I just want to hit on that nuance. I said landscaper, you said landscape artist, and right there, that is a differentiation of what we're really
Yeah.
doing in the world. So I thought that was fabulous. But the dentist that has that passion for smiles and building confidence, and the landscape artist who wants to inspire the feeling, that's there, that's with them.
Yes.
With the team, though, it can be hard to bridge that gap and actually impose that vision. Maybe impose is the wrong word. Inspire that vision throughout your team. How do you help brands
Nah,
do
man.
that when you know the leader has it?
Huge, 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 huge. It's so much easier than people think it is, but it has to do with going back to the basics. All right, how do I bridge both these gaps? If you have an existing team and you're already that type of person, you're probably surrounded mostly by people who support your values, who support the vision. If you don't, you might have to implode the company and start over. So what we do is we set up in advance a combine. The NFL uses this. The NBA uses this. You don't just get to go and try out. I can't just go to try out for the basketball teams in the NBA. Doesn't happen, right? There's a filtration process that exists. I don't get to go to Harvard without being filtered first. That filter is meant to protect me and my time. It's meant to protect others. Same with TED Talks, etc. That filtration does not exist for candidates. We focus so heavily on the prospect funnel because, well, we're all lost and we're all losing, and 96% of businesses are losing within 10 years. So how do you have time to focus on? Well, you don't. Stop trying to do it by yourself. Work with an expert. Don't try to be your own engineer. Don't make your uncle or your grandson or somebody else your engineer. They don't know how to do this. It is not, that's not easy. But when you have the frameworks and the templates and you know which direction to go, it is so much easier. And we have that at First Class Business. We pay attention to who are we even allowing into the interview process, and how do you create supply and demand in your favor so you have so many workers coming your direction. You don't have to take every meeting. You don't have to respond to every email. Let it all marinate. Instead, meet with the ones who actually, like, you can see, wow, they've got a great vision. They submitted a Loom video with their resume. By the way, we guided them to do that. You can inspire people to do great actions. You don't have to make it like, oh, you just have to find the diamond in the rough who's already perfectly polished and already soldered to a golden ring. Like, no, that doesn't exist. You still have to do the work to figure that out. But it is so much easier than people realize. You've got to create a combines type process to recognize who's doing what and how. And if you do that, if you pay attention to, we pay attention to love, patience, persistence, reliability, and consistency. And we see all of those before people even talk to me or my team. And if we see that, then we know that's somebody we can train on all the technical hows and whats. But if they don't have those values, they're going to be really awkward to work with on a day-to-day basis. They're not going to have that same feeling like the rest of our team, where it feels like our birthday every day we come to work. I want that. I don't want anybody to come in and disrupt that with some attitude problem, or some challenge or some like fear or insecurity. No, you got insecurities. You need a coach first. You're not going to fit in well here. You've got to have a centered soul ultimately. And if you have that, you're going to love to work with this team.
I love that. I love that the feeling of every day should be like your birthday. That's a cool way to describe work. Imagine if more companies
I
were
love
like that.
That's my day, man. We have our fires, of course. It's like if the birthday cake caught on fire, but it's still a fun thing for all of us. We're like, all right, we got this. We love each other. Mistake was made. Let's learn from it. We try to really, really never lose sight of the aspect of love and what we do.
I love it. So is there any way, you don't have to give away the secret sauce, but you mentioned the combine experience. Can you kind of overview that with your company? Like what does that mean and how do you guys do it?
Easy. So if you want to see the model from a technical standpoint, then just go to firstclassbusiness.io and click on the button that says join our team. And by the way, any company out there that does not have a join our team or a great careers process, it's an easy sign that they don't know how to scale, and they're not at scale, and they're going to probably fail when it comes to scale because they haven't put time and attention on honoring that process and that path. So super easy way to see a company that's limited. The other way so that's how we do that on the candidate side, the recruiting side, if you will. And we have a Facebook group for recruiting called Oportunidades de Trabajo para Latinos, opportunities for work for Latinos. And we have another one for opportunities for Filipinos. And we have another one now for opportunities for Indians. I focus on bridging the gap, the economic gap between North America, South America, and rest of the world. That's my big vision and what I'm up to. Then on the prospect side, if you will, people who are considering working with us, we have all sorts of blog articles and systems that we give away and we discount, etc. All that stuff's kind of great, but Vision Pros Live, that's my other filter. If somebody comes in to want to share their vision with us and it doesn't inspire, I guess we might kind of cancel it, but it would be rare. We're at least going to have somebody. I have 5 co-hosts who will meet with them, and it'll either be me or one of them. And we can tell from their attitude if they are the who we want to work with. And we ask them about their vision, and we ask them, why is that your vision? Why does that matter to you? We can hear the depth. You can see somebody's eyes light up, right? You can hear whether somebody's like really centered or not. It's amazing how many people come in and go, so is this like vision about, like business or my book or my life? And you can tell from the cadence, the tone, the insecurity that they're not quite ready to even be on stage, but we do try to nurture and facilitate a process to where they can try, and we have hope that they will figure things out. But it's not going to be with us if they're at that stage. We'll get the episode produced and move on from that situation and thank them, be like, man, that was awesome. We're so grateful for you. I won't say that's awesome. I will say you're awesome, because they are. And I'll say that we appreciate that. It's going to come out in 3 to 4 weeks. You have any questions for us? Nope, no questions. Okay, well, have a fantastic day. And we don't kick them in the butt as they go out the door, but we're pretty excited for them to get out the door. Like, they're not ready. They're not ready to move their vision forward. They might need 8 to 10 years of hard lessons before they figure out how to show up. I don't know, but that's not what I do. I don't do the coaching. And so if somebody's in a great position and they show up with that leadership of like, man, this is my vision, I love this. Brandon, you're a phenomenal example of this, right? You guys had your merge opportunity that came forward. You talked to me about, the systems. We talked about some of the things in the front end that could be adjusted, and you didn't fight. You didn't get defensive about it. You thanked me for my time. You knew that I was sharing something vulnerable on my side, and you respected that. We talked about your leadership team in depth and some of the people you're working with. I could see how much you care about people. And that's a huge sign for me. It's like, wow, I can see this guy cares tremendously about those that he serves. You're the type of person that I want to have by my side and see progress, because in 30 years from now, with that type of caring, what type of leader are you going to become with all the new experiences you have in life? Like, you're going to be a tremendous leader. And I've got 30 years of experiences to still learn and grow from too. So yeah, man, that's how you do it.
Well, I don't want to pass over that without appreciating the compliment that is received, and thank you. And I love the format too, because you're a lot of people focus on asking the questions, and you focus on what are the actions, because the actions reveal who the person truly is. It's easy to be a professional interviewer and just be really good at answering questions, and I've hired a number of people over the course of the last decade, and you don't know sometimes because they're really, really good at answering the questions.
Right.
But how do they perform and how do they show up is a different way to evaluate people. And I just love the way that you do it in all of your businesses. So This episode went way too quick, Jackson, as I knew it would, and we've barely scratched the surface. But for the audience, for the listeners who want to go that next step, who want to learn more, take their business to the next level, we're going to put everything in the show notes. But where are some of the places they can go to learn more about you?
VisionProsLive.com. I highly recommend that. Be our guest and check that out. Firstclassbusiness.io. You can go there. We'll also give you guys access to what's called Power Launch. There's a 2.5-hour webinar. If you don't survive that, then you're not meant to work with us. If you eat that up and are like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, then you might want to consider working with us. And at the end of that program, you'll see that it costs a little bit of money to join Power Launch. I'm giving Brandon a free link. It's called free parking. You have unlimited access to our infrastructure. Please don't attempt this as a solopreneur. I've never seen a solopreneur succeed at anything. If you are, however, if you have your own team, then use your team to work with your team on the infrastructure. Use it as a reference guide for fixing any problems in your own business and move forward. But if you want to work with our team, that's the structure that we follow. And those are the things that we put together. Brandon, it's like the San Francisco Bridge. I correlate it to that. We could probably take a few cables off, maybe even remove a pillar. It would probably still stand, but which one do you want to remove? Yeah,
I'm not going to answer that question.
We're not removing any of them. And so that's why we build the way we do. We don't build cheap tricks or cheap shot systems and solutions for the get rich quick path. We build full bridges where people will actually have a sense of security and win. So that's what it's all about.
That's a fantastic analogy. I also have an irrational fear of bridges. So for me, that hits home maybe a little bit more. But
so sorry, I traumatized you at the end.
No, it's okay. I mean, that's a great illustration of how to build a business the right way. I love all of this, and wherever you're watching and listening, all of those links are down in the show notes below. So please be sure to check those out. And business is not it's not a solo sport. So if you want access to really high quality partners and teammates, the links are below this episode. Jackson, I love to end these episodes with a powerful question. I just believe, 15, 20 minutes of a podcast is great, but what do you do with it? What do you do with the next? So the question's actually from you to the listener. In the context of everything we talked about today, what is one question you want the listeners to ask themselves so they get that powerful answer for the next step in their business?
How can you... I would ask this to myself, right? How can I learn to maximize the value of the verb love in my life?
I love that you said it's a verb. That is
the
awesome.
English language disguises
that. A feeling.
The English that I was deceived for years. And it wasn't until speaking Spanish and learning through that, and even 12, 13 years later, where I realized, oh my gosh, this word is a verb, and I've been craving this, desiring this for so long, but I haven't been fully activated in seeing how can I make sure that I'm really dedicated to loving others. So it's a beautiful shift.
I love it. Well, Jackson, thank you so much for being here. This has been a phenomenal episode.
Thank you, brother.
Wherever you're watching and listening, again, all of the show notes, all of the links are down below. So please go check that out. I encourage you, if you want to grow your business, if you want to get to that next stage, start there. Start with a pro like Jackson, and make sure you subscribe. We want to have you back. We put out an episode every single day of the week because we're a little bit crazy, but we also want to help you build a more harmonious business in life and keep bringing you amazing guests like Jackson. So we'll see you on tomorrow's episode of Harmonious at Lunch. And thanks for